Right, members, will start off. Good morning, members. Well, good afternoon, members, and welcome to this meeting of the Wigtown Divisional Licensing Board. This meeting is being recorded and will be made available for viewing through the Licensing Board's webpage. Please follow the good practice guidance, which includes muting microphones and switching off your video when you're not addressing the meeting, writing speak in the Teams chat function when you want to contribute. Please don't repeat contributions already made by other members. No material should be posted in the chat function if it is intended as part of the discussion. The usual standing orders apply, including that any votes will be undertaken by roll call. All members should speak clearly and directly into the microphone when making contributions, and when referring to reports, please provide reference to the relevant page and paragraph to allow everyone to follow. Please focus contributions on areas where clarification is required or to propose an alternative to a recommendation. Members will move on to item number 1, which is the Sedran and apologies. Clerk, can you provide the Sedran and any apologies, please?
Thank you, Convener. We have apologies from Councillor McCammon, and if I could just do a roll call, if I may. I can see that we're quorate, so you're in attendance, Convener. Councillor Dashford, can you hear me loudly and clearly?
Hi, Caroline. Good afternoon.
Afternoon, thank you. Councillor Hagman?
Yep, I can hear you fine.
Afternoon. Do we have Councillor Hill with us? Can't see Councillor Hill, and Councillor Ingalls.
Councillor Hill has an apology. She has an NHS meeting today. I don't know about Councillor Ingalls.
Thank you, Convener. So we have apologies from Councillors McCammon and Councillor Hill, and Councillor Inglis is not present, but we are quorate with 3. Thank you.
And members, I approve the remote participation of members. Item number 2, declarations of interest. Do any members have a declaration of interest they wish to make? I'm not seeing any hands going up, so we'll assume no. Item number 3, minutes of meeting, 8th of November 2023. Can we approve the minutes of the meeting held on the 8th of November 2023? I'm happy to move.
Happy to approve.
Thanks very much. Item number 4, Licensing Scotland Act 2005, applications for occasional licences and extended hours granted under delegated authority. Report to the clerk. Report by the clerk to the board. This item is for noting and gives details of the number of occasional licences and extended hours granted under delegated authority for the period from 26th of October 2023 to the 30th of November 2023. Do we have any questions, members?
Happy to know, Chair.
Happy to know. I'm happy to know as well. So members, on to item number 5, Licensing Scotland Act 2005, applications for minor variations granted under delegated authority. Report by the clerk to the board. This item is for noting and gives details of minor variation applications granted under delegated authority since the last board meeting. Are members happy to note this?
Happy to note.
Happy to know.
Thank you. Item number 6, Licensing Scotland Act 2005, update on application variation of premises licence, Chasers, North Strand Street, Stranraer. Report by the clerk to the board. I don't know why I keep making that mistake today. Clerk, can you go through this report and confirm the procedure for this item, please?
Thank you, Convener. I can see that we do have Celeste Smith, the licence holder, with us today. I'll just ask again, Miss Celeste Smith, can you hear me loudly and clearly?
Yes.
Thank you. And we've also got Inspector Stuart McComb. I can see Inspector McComb, can you just confirm you can hear me okay?
Good afternoon.
Afternoon. Hi. Okay, members. So this is an update on an application in respect of a major variation for Chasers in North Strand Street in Stranraer. The licence holder who's with you today is Celeste Smith. The reason this matter's calling before yourselves today, members, is to consider the terms of updated reports both from Police Scotland and Julia Farrell, our Licence and Standards Officer, in respect of the operation of the outside drinking area. You'll recall that you had a hearing in the 7th of June 2023 where you granted an application for a major variation in its entirety in respect to these premises subject to the outside drinking area. You granted it for a 6-month trial basis period, attaching conditions to that grant. Those conditions are detailed at paragraph 2.2 of the report, mainly that the terminal hour of the outside drinking area would be 6 p.m. 7 days per week. All outside furniture must be removed inside immediately following 6 p.m. each day. No amplified music or otherwise was to be played in the outside drinking area at any time, and the outside drinking area must be contained by a suitable barrier structure which would be removed following 6 o'clock each day. And you granted this for a 6-month trial period to call before yourselves in December 2023, subject to the submission of updated reports from Police Scotland and also from the LSO as to how the operation of the outside drinking area has impacted or otherwise the licensing objectives. So you have an updated report, members, from the LSOs detailed at Appendix 1. And also Police Scotland have submitted an updated report detailed at Appendix 2. So in terms of suggested procedure, convener, you may wish to hear from the police to speak to the terms of their updated report at Appendix 2 with any questions from yourselves. Thereafter hear from Julia Farrell, our LSO, in relation to the report at Appendix 1 with any questions from yourselves, and thereafter hear from the licence holder Celeste Smith, who's with you today, to speak to how the operation of the outside drinking area has gone these past 6 months with any questions from yourselves. Thereafter perhaps allow the Police Scotland the opportunity to sum up, with the LSO Julia Farrell the opportunity to sum up, and then the licence holder the opportunity to sum up prior to going into session, convener. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Caroline. Can I invite Inspector McColeman, please?
Thank you very much, convener, and good afternoon, everyone, and all members. I'm Inspector Hugh McComb from the Divisional Licensing Department at Police Scotland. I will go through the Police Scotland report on behalf of Chief Superintendent John Cairns, through whom I've got delegated authority for. In the interest of brevity, the full conditions have just been outlined there, which is consistent with the Police Scotland report. So Police Scotland, and it was myself, was in attendance on the 7th of June. We raised an objection to the variation for in behalf of certain grounds. During that meeting, yes, it was granted in the trial period with the objectives just as been outlined, with the terminal hour for outside drinking area 6 o'clock, 7 days per week, all furniture removed inside immediately after 6 p.m. each day, no music, amplified or otherwise, to be played in the outside drinking area. Outside drinking area must be contained by suitable barrier structure and all removed immediately following 6 p.m. that day. The reason for the police objection was in the grounds for ultimately for public safety due to the proximity of the road. So that was the outcome of that. Police Scotland have worked in partnership, continued to monitor the situation, continue to inspect the premises, and confirm there's been 5 licensed premises checks carried out by officers from Police Scotland. We have got no adverse comment whatever to make in this section. We know the conditions will be here, and I can confirm that we have had no relevant incidents which we would bring to your attention of an adverse nature, which we would want to bring in for consideration today. I just kind of finalise here for all information that we have no adverse comments and wish you to consider this when reviewing the trial period for 6 months.
Thanks for that, Inspector McComb. Can I invite our LSO? Oh, sorry, Councillor Hagman.
Thanks, Chair. Is this appropriate to ask questions now, or do you want me to come in after the LSO?
Sorry, I'll unmute myself. If you've got a question for Inspector McComb, I'd bring it in now. Thank you.
Perfect. It's just really sort of one ask, and I've read the letter, and you know it's great to see that there's not been any adverse comments, and you know the original concerns have almost, well, they've not been addressed, but they've been looked at. I just wanted to check, it references 5 licensed premises checks carried out, but it doesn't state the times of that, and I'm just conscious the LSO ones, none of those were after 6 p.m. I'm just wondering, do you know if there was checks done after 6 p.m, because I know that that was one of the concerns of the police, and it would just be really useful to confirm that you have checked the sort of evening times, because I know that that was one of the concerns.
Yeah, if the convener's happy, I can just very quickly research that. That would give time for the LSO report, and then I can come in and answer that if that's within the spirit of the meeting. I'm quite happy to go and give you absolute clarity in that at the moment. However, I can give you confidence that if it was after 6 o'clock and we had concerns, it would be in the report.
I think that's fine, Inspector McComb. It was just a point of clarity, but I appreciate that if there were any concerns, you would have raised them. So you know that's great. Thanks.
So we're happy with that, Katie. Do we want the inspector to do any research while we're listening to the LSO?
I'm happy to take Inspector McComb's report as is, and that there is no adverse concerns. Thanks.
Thanks for that. So can I invite Julia Farrell in?
Yeah, thanks, convener. As you'll see from my report, I've carried out 7 checks to the outdoor drinking area during the 6-month period. The first check was actually made sort of towards the end of trading, and it was observed at 5 to 6 that all the furniture had been removed. As my report states, there's been no issues from my side whatsoever, and I've got no adverse comments.
Thanks for that, Julia. Members, do we have any questions for the LSO? I'm not seeing any hands. So members, we'll move on to the applicant. Celeste, would you like to speak to the item at all?
No, I don't think I've got anything to kind of add to it.
Not a problem, thanks for that. Members, do we have any questions for the applicant? I'm not seeing any. So members, we're on to sum up. Can I invite Inspector McComb to sum up, please?
Thank you, convener. Yeah, similar to my report, I can sum this up that we have satisfied, we've got comfort that we've got comfort that the conditions are being complied with. We have got no further adverse information, and thank the applicant for all their assistance taking cognizance of any police concerns. And we've got no further adverse comment to make prior to any decision making.
Thanks for that, Inspector McComb. Julia, do you have anything to sum up?
No, really, convener, apart from to see that the licence holder works well with myself or my colleague Mary, and I've got no adverse comments.
Thank you for that. Celeste, would you like to sum up?
No, just that everything went well, and we just no, not really.
Not a problem, not a problem. So members, the board is now in session. Do I have any proposals? Councillor Dashford.
Hi there, thank you. Yeah, considering that there's no objections or anything, I recommend that we grant their application. Thanks.
Thanks, Councillor Dashford. I'm happy to agree with that. Councillor Hackman.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to agree with that, absolutely. And I just wanted to thank everybody. I think it's just to make the comment really that I appreciate that the licence holder has come back to the board, and just to thank her for that. I think it's really important that we do our due diligence, and actually, you know, I think it's just worth noting and thanking everybody involved in that. But you're happy to support the recommendation that this is granted, or not the recommendation, that we make the decision that this is granted.
Thanks for that, Councillor Hackman. I agree. It's nice to see our licensees in front of the board talking to us in a constructive manner. So members, well, sorry, actually, Caroline, would you like to sum up and
Yeah, it can be just for clarity. You're agreeing to grant in relation to the conditions that attached during that 6-month trial period. The conditions detailed at paragraph 2.2, with outside terminal hour being 6 p.m. 7 days per week. Is it the case that you're minded to grant the application with all the conditions attached to it to mirror exactly what's occurred these past 6 months in relation to the operation of that outside drinking area? So you want the conditions to attach. You do have the legal power, as you're aware, to attach those conditions.
I'm happy to keep those conditions, Caroline. Councillors Ashburn and Councillors Hagman, are you happy to keep those conditions?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks, convener. So the decision is to grant with all the conditions detailed at paragraph 2.2, the report attaching to that grant.
Thanks for that, Caroline.
Thank you. So I will now relay the decision to Celeste Smith. So Celeste Smith, you've just heard members deliberate, and their unanimous decision today is to grant the operation of your outside drinking area in its entirety, subject to the conditions that attached during the operation of your 6-month trial period. I'll just relay those conditions again, because it's obviously vital that you do adhere to those conditions as a condition of your licence. So the terminal hour of the outside drinking area shall be 6 p.m. 7 days per week. All outside furniture shall be removed inside immediately following 6 p.m. each day. No music, amplified or otherwise, is to be played in the outside drinking area at any time, and the outside drinking area must be contained by a suitable barrier structure which shall be removed immediately following 6 p.m. each day. And you will be notified of that decision in writing, and your amended licence will be with you in early course.
Thanks.
Thanks for that, Caroline. So members, we move on to item 7, which has been cancelled. I'm trying to remember the correct word. It's been pulled by the applicant. Do we have anything to do here, Caroline, or is it just simple it's been pulled?
It's just actually noting that I guess that it has been pulled. So Police Scotland did submit a report. On the basis of their report, you're obliged in law to hold a hearing. Police Scotland have confirmed in writing that they have now withdrawn that report, so it's no longer before yourselves. I think it would just be courteous, perhaps, convener, just to hear from Inspector Hugh McComb just to kind of confirm that decision that they've made, that they have indeed withdrawn that report, and on the basis that it is withdrawn, there is nothing to determine. But you may just wish to hear from Inspector McComb. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Caroline. I'll introduce the item then, just so the public, if they're watching in hindsight, actually, so they know what we're talking about. So we're on item number 7, which is Licensing Scotland Act 2005, review of personal licence, Richard Graham, report by the clerk to the board. Caroline, you've given us an update there on what the situation is. Inspector McComb, would you like to come in?
Yeah, thank you, convener. In relation to this, I can confirm that Police Scotland have confirmed in writing on the 9th of December, I believe, that we wish to withdraw this agenda item, and we have no further grounds for requesting a review with no further requests in relation to this. I'm happy with a full removal from the agenda.
Thank you very much, Inspector McComb. Do the members have any questions on this? I'm not seeing any hands up. Oh, Councillor Hagman, sorry.
No, I was just going to say the report's been withdrawn and there's no questions from me.
But thank you for that, Councillor Hagman. So members, with a withdrawn report and nothing else to discuss, that's us wrapping up this meeting. Thank you very much for attending.